Welcome to Tobar's Realm. Today I think I'm going to start making a giant set of D&D dice, and I'm going to start out with the 10-sided. So I just got my little paper model here in this pattern that I put it together from. This is 4 inches tall when it's sitting there. So I just cut one of the facets out, and I'm going to start cutting this out of 1/8 inch plate. I've got a couple already, so just going to cut out 8 more of them. Alright, well, I got it all welded together. I think it turned out pretty good. I just kind of marked some of these facets. I don't know if you can tell in the video, but this one's a little bit higher up than this one. So I'm going to grind these welds off, kind of get them flattened out. And on the lower ones, like this one is kind of indented a little there, I'm going to just add more weld to the top so I give it some material to sand down instead of trying to grind the higher facets down to the same level as the lower one. I'm going to build this one up, so I'm just going to start by sanding off these, smooth these out. Alright, well, I got it ground down kinda. Like I said, I'm gonna fill this in with some more welds to build that up on the edges. Just some other spots that need a little attention, but not bad for just the rough draft here. Alright, so I added some welds to kind of fill in those low spots. I was kind of in a hurry, so I don't know. But anyway, I've started grinding off those welds, so I'm just going to go around and flatten all the facets out again and see where I might need to add some more. Alright, well, I got it basically sanded down with the flapper disc good enough. Alright, well, I got this all pretty much polished up. Got the lines on it where I'm going to keep the numbers centered. I just use my little model here to get the numbers figured out. And I've seen different configurations for the setup of the numbers, but I think as long as they add up to 11, like the 5 is the opposite of the 6, and the 2 is opposite the 9, so they all add up to 11 that way. So I think as long as that stays constant on all of them, it should be fine. So I got these little number stickers I'm going to put on there. Once I get those all in place, I'll put a layer of spray paint, take those stickers off, and etch the numbers into the metal. Alright, basically done building it. I just went and used a little CLR to clean the rust out of the etching spots, and then gave it a quick sanding with the 2000 grit. Now I'm going to put a little thin coat of clear coat on it, and it'll be done. Alright, I got them all cut out and sized, and the caps for all the corners. So next will be to weld it up. Alright, I got all the sides of the 8-sided dice cut out. This is labeled M for master because this is closest to the original pattern. And I'm going to have to go and I'm going to clamp them together with a pair of vice grips and then grind off the little bits that to make them all match this one. I'm going to start on that. Alright, I got the 8-sided and the 4-sided welded up. So I'm going to grind these off smooth with the surface there. See if there's any spots I need to add a little more weld to. I think this one's good. I just did spot welds on this one and beads on this one. I did 2 layers of bead just to beef it up so I can grind it down to a sharp edge there. So I'm going to sand those down now. Alright, so I got the 8-sided and the 4-sided sanded down pretty good, and once I got them pretty much sized up, I found some spots I needed to add some more metal to, so I just, they're not pretty, but just to build up the meat of it so that I can sand that down to sharp tips on those. Just did the same this side. Just needed a little extra and then a couple little holes that were in there. And I also got this one, the 12-sided, pretty much ready to sand down. It was tough getting all these pieces to line up and hold them in place. I beefed up a couple of spots where the piece of 1/8-inch plate was just low, so if I had sanded it off it would have been too low anyway, so I just added some clad welds on the top of it. And then so I'll get this sanded down, and then I also welded together some smaller plates, which a lot of these are made out of, that were too big to get out of one piece, so I just made a larger plate, and then I'm ready to start cutting out some of the patterns for the 6-sided. I got several ready to go here, so I'll need to sand those welds off and just make it a larger plate to cut these patterns out of. Alright, well, I got the 12-sided welded and sanded. Preliminary sanding. The X's are just so I could keep track of which sides I did, but I'll need to go back and add some more welds and then grind those off. That was the challenge, to get this welded together to hold the pieces in place to get it tacked together. But so right now I am moving on to continuing to sand down the 4-sided and the 8-sided. So this one's pretty good. There's a couple little things that maybe I could improve, but sometimes you gotta know when to stop so you don't just mess it up more. Watch out for those fumes because it creates chlorine gas. Alright, I got all the etching done. So now I just need to remove the paint. Let's check out how it went. Just about ready to start etching. I spray painted it last night and let it dry, so I'll pull those numbers off and then etch that a little later. Alright, well, time to start on the 20-sided. I printed up another paper pattern here just to get a size reference, and it looks about right with the rest of them. And worked out pretty good because the edges are 2 inches, which works out good because a lot of the scrap I have is actually 2-inch. So that worked out great. So I just need to mark and cut out 20 triangles, so I'll get started on that. Alright, I got this lined down. I just need to get it tacked together. Hopefully I don't screw it up. Alright, well, I did some repair welds on this 12-sided and already ground them off. Got a continue sanding that again. I also got the 6-sided welded. I did 3 welds at least on each one just to add enough meat to be able to grind it to a point there. Got the 20-sided, just the kind of rough weld. I was running out of time, so it's just got the very first weld, so I'll grind all these down and find out where I need to add some more to be able to keep the edges good. Alright, the paint is dry after putting all the numbers on and then putting some spray paint on. So now all I need to do is take all these number stickers off and get ready to etch. Alright, well, finished them all up. Got them all put together and etched and polished up nice, clear coat on them. So full set of D&D, I guess, or gaming dice. So that was a fun project. Turned out pretty good, I think. Looks pretty cool. So now I gotta make a box to put them in. But hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Until next time. Alright, made a box to hold all those dice. I didn't film any of the box building, but it turned out really good. Put a magnetic lock system in it. So turned out pretty good.